This is a video for beginners in English. Listen carefully. I will talk about different people and what their childhood was like. If it is a helpful video, please like it and subscribe to the channel. I make a new video every day. Sophie grew up in a big city where she went to a large school. She really liked art and painting because it was like telling stories with colors. But science class was tricky for her. All those numbers and formulas were like a puzzle she couldn't figure out. She enjoyed playing basketball with her school team. She was the team captain and she felt important. Sophie had a small group of friends who liked the same things as her. They explored the city together, visiting arty places and trying different food. Sophie's house was on the outskirts of the city. The people in her neighborhood were friendly and it was close to a big park. Sophie had a special bond with her brother. He was not just a brother, but also a good friend. They shared adventures and helped each other out. Outside of school, Sophie loved doing many things. She enjoyed taking pictures, making up stories, and trying out different types of art. The city was like her big playground, full of exciting places to explore. Sophie's childhood was a mix of art, basketball, and good friends. All these things together made her who she is and helped her grow into a happy and creative person. Next, I will talk about Edward's childhood. Listen carefully. Edward grew up in a cozy town with a friendly family home. His house was small, but he was lucky enough to have a big bedroom. He was an only child. He had no brothers or sisters, so it was just him and his mum and dad. His dad was a good cook, and they often shared yummy meals together. The town was small but nice, with friendly neighbors and cute shops. Edward had many friends from school, and they liked exploring the town, playing games, and having fun adventures. Edward's school was a familiar place with nice teachers and interesting classes. He enjoyed talking to his classmates and learning new things. He enjoyed the subjects of design and technology, history, and geography, but his favorite part of the day was spending time with his friends during breaks. At home, Edward had lots of hobbies. He liked reading books and playing with gadgets. Sometimes he sat under a big tree in his backyard and read stories. Other times he built things and used his creativity to make cool stuff. His family was important to Edward. Evenings were spent playing games or sharing stories by the fireplace. It was a happy childhood for Edward, full of family, friends, school, and fun hobbies that made each day special. Now I will talk about Elizabeth's childhood. Listen carefully. Elizabeth, a cheerful and curious young girl, spent her childhood in a small town surrounded by hills and streams. She shared her cozy home with her parents, a younger brother called Jake, and a cat named Whiskers. Elizabeth's mother was a skilled baker, and she filled their kitchen with the smell of freshly baked cookies and pies. Their house was large, with a big backyard. Elizabeth had a little room with just a bed, a desk, and a wardrobe for furniture. Elizabeth didn't mind having a small room, as she spent most of her time outside in the garden, the town, or the hills. Elizabeth had a close group of friends, and they often spent weekends exploring the nearby woods, searching for hidden treasures, or having picnics by the stream. In the evenings, they went to the town's ice cream parlor. Strawberry ice cream was her favorite. Elizabeth attended the local elementary school. It was surrounded by tall trees that provided shade on warm afternoons. Elizabeth loved the school playground, where she and her friends played and chatted under the old oak tree. Her favorite subject was music, and she dreamed of becoming a musician. Outside of school, Elizabeth loved drawing pictures of the flowers in her backyard and reading books borrowed from the town's library. She also spent time every day practicing the piano. She played a bit every day until she became a wonderful pianist. Elizabeth's childhood was very full and she has a lot of good memories. Next, let's hear about Andrew's childhood. Listen carefully. Andrew spent his childhood in a big, bustling city, surrounded by high buildings and busy streets. He lived in an apartment with his parents, an older sister named Sarah, and a friendly dog named Buddy. Their apartment building was on a crowded street. Andrew's father was an office worker and often brought work home. He spent nights after dinner completing work he didn't finish during the day. Andrew's mother was a librarian. She worked in a library. Andrew went to a busy elementary school in a neighborhood filled with shops and cafes. Andrew's school routine included classes in maths, science, and weekly assemblies in the hall. His favorite subject was art, which he found interesting and fun. Andrew had a big group of friends. They played basketball or football in the local park, or explored the city's museums and libraries. On weekends, they met up at a fast food place, enjoying burgers and drinks. As a little boy, Andrew was always interested in building things. When he was old enough, he started helping his father assemble furniture or fix things around the house, such as a leaky tap or a squeaky door. He also liked exploring the city's parks, taking photographs with his camera, or buying small souvenirs from street markets. Andrew had a happy childhood filled with school, friends, and hobbies. He has a lot of good memories. Next, let's hear about Olivia's childhood. Listen carefully. Olivia spent her childhood in a town surrounded by fields. A calm river ran through the town. She lived in a typical home with her parents, a younger brother named Ethan, and a playful cat named Charlie. Their house had a garden and was on a quiet street where the neighbors knew each other. The children all played together. Olivia's father was a teacher, and he spent evenings grading papers at the dining table. Her mother worked at a local shop. Olivia went to the local school, which was near a park with swings and a basketball court. Olivia's school days involved classes in many subjects and sometimes trips to nearby museums. She enjoyed her classes and liked her teachers. Olivia had a group of friends from school. They played football in the park, rode bikes through the neighborhood, and occasionally went to the town's pizzeria for dinner. On weekends, they walked the nearby nature trails or just hung out in the square. Like most teenagers, Olivia listened to music all the time. She liked many types of music, but especially rock. In quieter moments, Olivia enjoyed drawing in her notebook. She drew the nature that was all around her. Olivia's childhood was generally happy and carefree. She has a lot of good memories. Now I will talk about my childhood. Listen carefully. I grew up in a small town surrounded by hills and fields. The town was peaceful and seemed to be away from the fast-paced outside world. Our community was close, and neighbors knew each other well. The town wasn't big, so it didn't have hotels, museums, stadiums, or concert halls. It didn't have a lot of bars or sports arenas. It had basic facilities like a grocery store and a diner. There was a park and a library. During the summer, families often gathered at the town square on Friday nights. There, we enjoyed popcorn, listened to a local band, and kids played. Nature played a big role in our lives, and we spent time outdoors, climbing trees, building forts, and playing in the river. My school was a red brick building about 10 minutes away from my house by bike. I remember a lot of my teachers. One of them lived next door to me. My favorite subject was maths. I really enjoyed solving problems. It felt good to get the right answers. I even joined maths competitions and worked with classmates on tricky maths puzzles. We had to wear a school uniform in my school. I didn't like that we all wore the same thing. I was jealous that in other schools they could wear whatever they wanted. I remember my town as a simple and close community. Life was slower. People knew each other, and the town's traditions were important to us. Those memories hold a special place in my heart. Okay, your turn. Can you describe your childhood? Tell me about it in a comment below the video.